A federal judge issuing a new nationwide order blocking President Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship. Of course, it comes just days after the Supreme Court cleared the way.
Today, going to reflect on the judicial overreach and separation of powers. It's just incredible that Democrat judges continue to make these nationwide injunctions, even though the United States Supreme Court has already said you can't do that. So they're using basically a legal trick in that I guess it's a class action suit that allows them to make such a ruling. It's just a clear subjugation of the Supreme Court and the separation of powers that's fundamental to our constitution and government.
Just 2 weeks after the Supreme Court gave President Trump the green light to move forward with his ban on birthright citizenship, tonight a federal judge blocking the policy yet again. The High Court determined federal judges could not issue sweeping nationwide injunctions against many of Trump's policies. But the plaintiffs in today's case worked around that ruling by filing a class action lawsuit.
Ultimately, what needs to happen is this: number one, if the Supreme Court has the guts to do it, Justice Roberts need to just come out with hard, firm rulings that they can't get around. They should just validate, the powers of the president. This president isn't doing anything illegal or anything. It's all within the law. I mean, he's the chief one that has been a victim of a weaponized judicial system, so he's very astute to making sure he's following the rule of law, which these Democrat judges are refusing to do. So the Supreme Court just needs to come out with a quick ruling just to shut it down and respect the separation of powers between our branches. The craziness with the immigration raids, there was one yesterday, I believe it was in Camarillo down here in Southern California.
A dramatic crash near Camarillo, a federal agent seen dropping flashbangs into a crowd of protesters during a raid of a cannabis field. The confrontation becoming violent in the heat of the day. Demonstrators seen throwing rocks at agents' vehicles, and one unidentified man repeatedly punched and kicked by protesters before leaving the area.
We had a bunch of protesters out there, and I saw it appears that one protester was shooting a gun at the federal officers.
From Air 7 that appears to show this protester firing or aiming some sort of a gun at federal agents. This happened during that chaotic scene this afternoon. Tonight, the FBI announcing a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to a conviction of the man seen here in this video. It looks like he fired it at least a couple of times. No reports of anyone being hit by gunfire.
I'm going to say he was shooting for the air because I don't know that any officer is going to take rounds at them and not respond. So he was probably shooting their direction, but up in the air. But either way, he needs to be found and put in prison for a very, very long time. And once again, this is another example of the lawlessness of Democrats. President ran on a ticket that said we're going to deport the illegal aliens within the country, the American people. I keep harping on it, the American, like that American flag there. I said it many times how the president said, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to close the border and we're going to deport the illegal aliens in the country. The American people heard this for the better part of a year before the election. And Biden, Biden-Harris, who was the epitome of opening up the border, we basically had no southern border, ran on that platform. And the American people spoke with their votes. That's how it works in our representative republic. So the American people spoke and elected President Trump, knowing exactly what he's going to do, which is what he's doing right now. He said he would do it, and we voted him to do it. So why are all these protesters out on the streets when the president's doing the will of the American people? ask yourself, what's the agenda? What's their agenda? Why do they want to keep illegals, trespassers in the country? That's basically them forcing you to keep a trespasser, a burglar in your home, because they're here in your home illegally, so they should be removed. But these people don't want to do that. So, you know, what are their motives? What does their say of their character? You know, it all comes back to, and this is going to sound very big picture, but it's very true. It's just all due to a lack of assimilation, due to a hatred of this country and its exceptionalism. It's just, I just don't get it. It's a refusal to be American. They want to maintain their, that's not going to work. They just want to maintain their, the cultures they're coming from. They are adverse to the rule of law, of an orderly society, and basically what's right and fair. You don't get to break the law and continue to reap the benefits of doing that. So the immigration president needs to keep on doing it. I think there probably should be more enforcement, like this Camarillo thing. If you find the video, where was the sheriff's department? Why weren't they there keeping the roadway clear? You can't just block a roadway. So, you know, our government, local government, particularly here in California, is just simply corrupted, and advocating for the destruction of our nation, because that was a clear, hard and fast, easy thing to do, is clear the roadway. We don't get to block roadways. So there's just so many problems. Liberalism has had its way for far too long, especially over these past decade or two. The American people need to stand strong. We're coming up with the midterm elections coming up next year. We need to make sure that the Republicans keep control of the House and the Senate, so that we can continue to push forward this America First agenda, and keep, you know, to restore our country back to its greatness. A lot of stuff the president has done in just a mere few months. We need to keep that momentum going into the second half of his administration, and hopefully we're going to have J.D. Vance to pick up the flag and continue on beyond 28. Well, that's enough for now. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you get out there and get some exercise in. I know it's pretty hot out here, about 72 degrees. Stay healthy out there. I'm Paul Levette, and this is the Paul Levette Show.